Right then, praise the Lord. Today I visited Waterford City. I had been to Waterford and I had no problem, no issue. There are videos up online of my preaching in Waterford City. There are no issues, nobody took any issue, nobody said anything negative. The police were around but said nothing to me on the matter. And then I was on Facebook afterwards and I saw somebody asserting that there had been some bylaws passed. And so I wasn't sure as to the genuineness of this assertion online. And so I did, when I arrived in Waterford City today, I did my own research. I actually called up the Gardaí and I asked, what is the situation? Was there anything I needed to know with respect to preaching in Waterford City? And so Garda Larry Langton stated that there were bylaws passed that were in place for a year, I think he said. Now when I asked him how would one go about that, or what were the conditions of applying, he said he didn't know what the conditions or how you would be eligible, in other words, for the permit. So this was one phone conversation, and then I called again and I asked, if I preach in Waterford, will I be arrested? And then it was, I think, a Sergeant Coleman, Waterford 537, I think he said his number was, said that, what did he say? He said that I could try. No, sorry, I have it here verbatim in quotations. He said, come on down and try. Initially what he said was, you're going to have to, he's saying, I won't arrest you. You know, he said, I won't arrest you, but he was saying he couldn't speak for other guards. And then I asked him to cite the law, and he said that you'll have to ask your solicitor, you'll have to ask for legal advice. So I find it unreasonable that a guard can't cite the law with respect to public order and things of that nature, or, you know, answer questions of the public when they're looking to be informed on these matters. So today in Waterford there were a number of different assertions made, none of which are lawful. Today over the phone I was called a homophobe by Garda Coleman, WD 537. He said I agree with the judge, and I wasn't quite sure what he meant by that. Did he mean that he agreed with the judge that I was a homophobe? Because I want to make it very clear that at no stage did the judge say that I was homophobe or homophobic. That was not a statement of the judge that was printed by the newspaper. That was hearsay evidence or prima facie evidence that was given by one of the witnesses. It was at no stage corroborated with irrefutable solid evidence. So that's not what the judge said, and it wouldn't be fair to say that it is what the judge said. At no stage did any judge of any court call me a homophobe. That's not what happened. So today I was called a homophobe by a sergeant in Waterford police station when he has no evidence to that effect. Plus, what does the word homophobe mean? Homophobe is not defined in law. That's not a lawful term. So why is a guard using a term that's not lawfully defined? It's interesting. Why is a guard using a term that's not lawfully defined, calling a man a homophobe over the phone, when all the man is asking is it lawful to preach in Waterford town, Waterford City? So there are so many things that are taking place that are clearly unconstitutional, downright defamatory based on hearsay and in the absence of any solid irrefutable evidence from the very get-go. Now, the guard did say he was online watching some of my videos. I don't know whether the fact that he was watching the videos led him to believe that, that I behave in a way that is unconstitutional because, or unlawful, because at no stage have I ever been arrested for preaching. Not ever. Apart from that one time that I often talk about, which I was acquitted of. So when I say I was never arrested, I mean I was never lawfully arrested and charged for preaching. Because there is no law allowing a man to be arrested and charged for preaching. You understand? So when somebody comes up, especially when somebody of Waterford Garda Station, irrespective of rank or their name, comes up and says to you, is this Stephen Talon the homophobe, or you're the homophobe? So I mean, this is unacceptable behaviour from An Garda Síochána, to profile somebody like that, to slander their name in such a manner, to act as judge, jury and executioner with a blatant lack of impartiality, and prejudge a man in that manner, absent to anything that he himself can stand on. There is no lawful definition for the word homophobe in our state or in the law books. So when a Garda uses a term like homophobe and doesn't have anything to back that up, then this is serious. This is not only like using a word that doesn't have a legal definition or anything of that sort, but he's also judging me without impartiality according to his own standard that isn't a lawful standard. So he has no jurisdiction to do such a thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, what they want me to do is they want me to engage about this term homophobic. But homophobic is a nonsense term. It doesn't exist in law, and it shouldn't, because it's utter nonsense. Homo means man or same. Okay? Phobia means an irrational fear. So what is he saying? That I'm irrationally afraid of men? Or that I'm irrationally afraid of same? Do you see how that makes absolutely no sense? If he has another definition for the word, you can't just go around making up words. Certainly you can't go around calling people names while you're wearing the uniform. Certainly you can't tell somebody that they can't engage in their constitutional freedoms because of a word that you and somebody else made up and have your own understanding of apart from the law. Because I don't understand this word. What does it mean, guards? Homophobe. What does that mean? I don't contract on that term. It's not a lawfully defined term. So why am I being called names over the phone by sergeants in Waterford City Police? Why are they trying to characterise me and prejudge me? If they have an issue with my worldview, then that's fine. We can meet up in Waterford Town Centre and they can have their say as well. But they'd have to have their uniform off. You understand? They'd have to go home, take off their uniform, come back down in plain clothes as a citizen such and such, and express their worldview. And then when they put back on the uniform, they go about their business and they're guardians of the peace. At no stage are they to allow their worldview to govern how they go about policing. That is determined by the state, who have been instructed by the people, who have been instructed by God. Now, if you abandon nature, if you abandon reason, then what you're going to get as a result is destruction. When you engage in unreasonable behavior or irrational behavior, then you get silliness. And as I said, I don't have an irrational fear of men, which is what homophobia means. They're not English words. Homo is not an English word. So what is the meaning of the word homo? Let's have a look. Here's the definition. Okay. Homo means same. Okay. Yeah. Now, I mean, people make up new definitions for words every day, but that doesn't like automatically superimpose them in law. You know, homo means same. Homo, the origin of the Greek word, from Greek homos, same. Homo means same. Or man, it also means man. Okay, Latin, it is Latin for man. Greek, same. Latin, man. They are the origins of the word homo. Now, what is the word phobia? Phobia. I'm being very clear. An extreme or irrational fear of something. A phobia is a fear, like arachnophobia. It always means fear of, and an irrational fear of. Because all fear is irrational, because God is almighty, sovereign, and our protector. That's why the nature of fear is that it is irrational. Unless, of course, you understand the meaning of godly fear, which is hatred of sin or hatred of evil. It's a completely different realm of understanding. When you're understanding Jesus, you're understanding the realm of the living. When you're bowing to this world and the irrational, fearful world, then you're not understanding fear as it is truly meant. So, again, that's why phobia or fear is always irrational, I should say. So, fear, irrational fear. Homo means man in Latin. Homos means same in Greek. Now, phobia, let's go back to the origins. Via Latin from Greek. It says an extreme or irrational fear. That's it. Now, if there is a different meaning of the word homophobia, I don't know it, I don't contract with it, it's certainly not a lawful definition, and so it shouldn't even utter forth from the mouth of a Garda. let alone a judge. How did it even enter in to the vocabulary of keepers of the peace? Where's this lawful definition? What is he referencing? Because I saw this word in the newspaper, and I don't contract with any definition. This is not a lawful term. This is not a lawfully defined term. Where is it defined? Can you show me? So now our police force have reverted to schoolyard name calling. And they won't cite any laws that prevent you from doing something, but they'll engage in name calling and such, and provocative speech, such as quotations, "Come on down and try," when I asked if it was okay, if it was lawful for me to preach in Waterford. So I haven't gotten a clear answer from Waterford Police Station. It has been exposed now that in Waterford they will not allow you into the social welfare office unless you engage in their contact tracing farce. Have you been here? Have you been there? That's absolutely none of your business where I've been. I have a thing called privacy. I have certain rights that I'm not going to hand over to anybody. And now if you want to sit at the front of a social welfare office and tell me I can't come in unless I give you over some information, well then, you know, it's time to go to the European courts. And we really have to start bringing empirical evidence for this stuff, because it's gotten out of control. Where's the empirical evidence for any pandemic? Because all we're seeing right now, folks, all we're seeing is flu season. That's it. That's all we're seeing. We're seeing numbers that correlate with the annual flu season and nothing more. Any other statistic is fluffed up, and they've told you that. The numbers are fluffed up, they're propped up, and there's empirical evidence coming out to that effect on a regular basis that will support and corroborate what I've just said. So we can't ignore what's plainly in front of us. And what's plainly happening now is they're saying you can't come in here unless you give us evidence as to where you've been. That's my business. It's none of your business where I've been. You work for me. I don't have to answer to you under any circumstances as to where I've been, whether I've been out of the country doing this or whether I've been doing the other thing. That's my business. Why would I have to tell you? So where has privacy gone? Where's it gone? Now you can't go into now the credit union wants your PPS number before you can apply for a loan. This is the central bank. This is the central bank. They're regulated by the central bank. The central bank are Rothschilds and all those families. So why should a few families have access to what I do day to day? I mean, I know they're used to getting it on Facebook if they log on there, because many people put up their daily activities anyway. So that's where the conditioning started. Well, what's the big deal? You put it on Facebook anyway, what you're doing every day, so why can't I ask you? The reason you can't ask me is because you're not entitled to. Period. Full stop. The end. That's it. They're not entitled to ask you that. And if they then deny you access, and that happened today, it's not academic anymore. I was denied access to a state-run building because I wouldn't ask a question as to whether I left the country or not. 3 questions. The magic 3 questions get you in the door. No, they don't. My rights as a citizen of this state get me in the door. And you telling me I can't come in the door for any unreasonable reason, any reason, in other words, that hasn't been backed up with empirical evidence, means that you're now breaking the law. And we don't contract on those bases, us Irish citizens in our democracy, because that's tyrannical behaviour. So they want to turn around, they want to say, come on down and try, homophobe. I agree with the judge. So now, hold on a second. Is the guard giving me his own opinion? Or is he going to cite laws? Because so far, no judge uttered the words homophobe. And I know why. Because it's not a lawful term. So Garda 537, WD 537, Mr. Coleman, I find you out of order. I find that you're not upkeeping your oath. You're not standing on your oath. You're not acting with impartiality. You're acting above your office. It's not required for you to tell me what judge you agree with or don't agree with. It's simply your job to uphold and be a keeper of the peace, a guardian of the peace, to uphold the law and be a guardian of the peace. That is your job. That is your mandate in your office. That is your job. It's not your job to name call. It's not your job to discriminate against street preachers because of their worldview, because you might have a different worldview. You're not supposed to be giving your own personal worldview, your own personal opinions while you're wearing the uniform or you're on the job. So you're out of order. And we need to hold our guards accountable for this type of behaviour. Now, I don't have any personal issue with the man, but when the man is in the uniform, we have to hold him accountable to his office. So I would dissuade, there'd be no formal complaint made, but I would dissuade said Garda from behaving in such a way. Okay. Blessings, beloved. Jesus is the Lord. Amen.